The Memphis Grizzlies asking price for Ja Morant revealed. Are they asking too much? Is this reasonable? What would it really take to get Ja out of Memphis? And some teams that are interested in doing so. I'm Trevor Lane. This is the Basketball Bulletin. Make sure you subscribe right here to the channel and turn on those notifications as well. According to Kurt Helene, if the Grizzlies were to entertain trading Ja Morant, they would want either a star player who can sell tickets or a boatload of picks and young players in return. Now, it was also announced by, well, not announced, but reported by John Krasinski, who covers the Wolves, that the Wolves have indeed checked in on Ja Morant, with the belief being that if the asking price stays low, that's the kind of move they may look to sometime like late in December, something like that. Again, it's not trade season around the NBA just yet, but it'll be something to keep an eye on. They certainly could use help at the point guard position. And Ira Winderman reported that the Miami Heat could also be a landing spot for Ja Morant on the trade market. We know Miami always in the mix whenever a star level player becomes available. Miami's always a club to watch. They were long in pursuit of Damian Lillard, widely considered to be the main landing spot before he got traded to the Bucks. Maybe the Heat actually dodged a bullet on that one given Lillard's injury history, but Miami always in the mix for star players. And would Ja fit with Heat culture? I've got some questions about that, but if Pat Riley thinks he can make it work, he's certainly still an exciting young, he's only 26 years old. Ja Morant's still an exciting young talent, but can the Grizzlies really get this? Given Ja's history, given the off-court issues that we've seen with him, given his contract, has 3 years under contract. Right now, if teams are at all concerned about contracts, the contract of a player, they are very quickly out on a player if they have multiple years on their deal. We're seeing more and more teams that are completely risk-averse salary-wise, and that's due to the second apron and the current environment with the NBA's newish salary cap system. So the way this collective bargaining agreement is structured, teams simply don't. They are allergic to bad money deals. It's part of why we've talked about it. Why restricted free agency is now not even free agency at all. It's really just a exclusive negotiating window with your own club. And it's why RFAs have had such a hard time. We saw it with Josh Giddey and Jonathan Kuminga and all the others, because the only way you get an RFA is if you overpay them and get their incumbent team to balk at the offer and matching the deal. And inherently, it has to be a bad contract. Right? I mean, in order to get a team to not pick up or not match on a contract, it has to be a bad deal. Well, no team can take on bad money right now because of the collective bargaining agreement. So there are teams that will look. My point is, there are teams that will look at Ja's deal and say, we're not 100% sure he's going to fit, and we can't take the risk at this being a bad money deal if he doesn't fit with us, if it doesn't work out. You have to remember that Ja Morant is not a good defensive player, does not shoot the three well, that he's shooting a career low. I mean, it's putrid. 15% from three this season. I'm rounding up in order to get there. 19 points per game, averaging. Now his minutes have come up since he had his whole fight with the Grizzlies coaching staff, that little spat after their loss to the Lakers. Memphis did lose to the Thunder last night, but 8 assists, that's pretty nice, especially in just under 31 minutes per game. That's impressive. 1.2 steals, 19 points, but shooting 36% from the field and 15% from three. Now, Ja Morant has never been a good three-point shooter. That's not been what he can do, and that makes it more difficult to build around him. In addition to the bad defense, it's more difficult to build around him moving forward. I don't think he's really this bad. Is he a 15% from three shooter? No, I think that number will come up by season's end. I don't think that is reasonable to assume that he's a 15% three-point shooter now, but it's not good. It's not good. And we have seen a season before, it was only 9 games, but where he was 28% from three. Even though his best season was 34%, that's still below league average. So the bottom line, he's a below average three-point shooter. Is he 15% bad? No, teams will completely run away from him if he's that bad, but still low 30%. Yeah, teams aren't going to worry too much about Ja behind the three-point line. So he's a difficult guy to build around. And so I think both of those things will limit Ja's market. Ever hear the Sleeper app? Here's a little secret. It's more than just a platform for season-long fantasy leagues. This year, millions of users enjoyed playing fantasy sports on Sleeper, but the app offers so much more. Live stats, real-time updates, and visualizations on all stats. A news feed. This is so important for me. You can get lightning-fast updates on your favorite players and teams. A real-time chat to allow you to engage with other users about individual plays and performances during the NFL and NBA seasons. So download the #1 sports app today. Experience it for yourself. When you use promo code Bulletin, you get up to a $100 match on your first deposit. Terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. Currently operational in over 25 states. Check out Sleeper today. And by the way, they do have a phenomenal promo going on right now as well. Free $20 entry. Go check that out. No deposit required. $20 entry for free. Go check them out. Use the link in the description down below, and that promo code is Bulletin. On the court, no defense, no three-point shot, as acrobatic and breathtaking as he can be. And then off the court, of course, all the issues. Those things will limit the market for Ja. But are you going to get a star player who can sell tickets or a boatload of picks and young talent? I don't see it. And I understand why Memphis would want those things, but I don't see teams giving up all of them. Like, if you already have a star player, why are you giving him up for Ja Morant? It would have to be a troubled star player where the situation is not good, and you're just trying to trade one problem for another, essentially. Like, could you flip Ja for Zion Williamson? Not that it would make sense for either club right now in terms of the structure of their roster, but I'm just saying another guy who's in a position where you say, would he be better off somewhere else? Do we need to see a move here? Does something need to change? That type of thing. Would you trade Ja for Zach LaVine in Sacramento, who expressed frustration with the Kings' start to the season, and rightfully so? Things have been a bit rough there. Would you trade Ja for any of those types of guys that maybe just need to get out and get into a new situation? That's the type of star that you'd be trading. Now, are you trading Ja for Giannis, right? Who's going to put butts in seats in Memphis? I mean, certainly the Grizzlies would say that, but would do that. But is that going to be out there? The ability to go trade Ja for a Jalen Brunson, for Giannis Antetokounmpo, for Jokic, for Kevin Durant, for any of those guys, right? That are those top tier, like high billing stars that are going to get people to go to games in Memphis. No, I don't think you're getting any of those big draw guys. You might get the disgruntled star from somewhere else. Like, if Devin Booker was unhappy in Phoenix, okay, I could see a book for Ja swap or something, but it's the exact opposite. He's not unhappy at all. He's very happy and wants to spend his whole career there. So, but that's the type of situation you'd be looking for. Had it been last year, could we be talking about like De'Aaron Fox for Ja Morant? Could that have made some sense between the clubs? By the way, Sacramento, a team that is expected to express interest in Ja. So that type of scenario, that type of player, I don't think you're getting the star player who's going to sell tickets coming in. I think you're going to get the disgruntled guy that doesn't have as big of a name, but you're hoping can develop one in the Memphis market. And maybe that's not enough. And then a boatload of picks and young players for Ja. They got a boatload of picks for Des Bane, so I get why Memphis would want that. But I mean, who's given that up? Who that has a boatload of picks right now is saying Ja Morant is the piece that we need? Now, most teams, I think, that would have interest in Ja, particularly when we talk about the Miami Heat, we talk about the Minnesota Timberwolves, we talk about the Sacramento Kings, they don't have a boatload of talent of young players or exciting young players or picks to particularly offer up. Instead, and Sacramento is maybe the closest to having that kind of combo. I mean, Miami, do you do something around Tyler Hero? If you're Miami, does that make sense? Is it somebody else that you look at? I mean, Jaime Jaquez is playing so well right now. I don't know if I'm giving him up in a Ja deal, and certainly Memphis would want him. So if you are Sacramento, you could offer up a couple of picks or something, but most of the teams that have those things don't look and say, we're a Ja Morant away from really making a run here. Most of those teams that have those things, you're either like OKC, where you already have your main pieces and you still have a ton of draft capital, which is crazy, or You've got draft capital, but you're not very good. Like, is Utah saying, hey, we've got some picks. What do we think about a Ja Morant trade? That doesn't make any sense for Utah at this stage. The teams are not ready to make that addition. And I would think a number of teams would also question whether or not Ja is the guy they want to bring in, period. They would see him more as, like Minnesota would see him as more of a second guy next to Anthony Edwards. And Minnesota has some struggles in terms of putting it together, the salary and all of that. So all of this, everything that I'm talking about here, combines to make a very complicated trade front for Ja Morant. And to me, very unlikely that Memphis is going to get the things that they want, which suggests one of two things. Either Memphis is just going to keep Ja and say, we're going to let him do acrobatic stuff. We're going to see if we can smooth this over. We're going to keep putting butts in seats in Memphis. We're going to hope to get our new arena deal will be all done. And then we go forward from there. And I think that's the most likely outcome here. Or Memphis says, you know what, we're going to wash our hands of this. And this is our asking price right now. But come February 5th at the trade deadline, maybe we'll take less. We'll take less than this. So if they do decide to move on from Ja, I would be shocked if they got what they're looking for, which is either that I definitely don't see the star level player, but the boatload of picks, maybe low level picks, certainly not. You're certainly not getting like high quality picks unless Sacramento gets crazy and says you can have our pick this year. If that's the case, I'd be all over that if I'm Memphis. But if you're maybe Sacramento gets involved, but otherwise you're probably not getting high lottery picks, especially in this year's draft, which is expected to be absolutely phenomenal. And young talent, I can't imagine you're getting a lot for Ja. Certainly not what Memphis wants. Again, right now, here we are mid-November, Memphis should ask for the world. They absolutely should put out there, hey, we want all the things if we're going to move Ja Morant. That's fine. But is it realistic? No. I would think if they are serious about moving him, they're going to get negotiated down and they're going to have to take significantly less than what they're asking for right now. All right, everybody, give me your thoughts in the comments down below. Now we know what the Memphis Grizzlies want in return on the trade front. Let me know your thoughts. Till next time, everybody. See ya and stay safe.